Hi everyone, in this video you're going to learn how to actually make it. This is part 2 of the video. So the first part we learn how to make the pattern, and this part we're going to actually make the dress and put it all together. So if you haven't watched it already, please watch part 1. If you just want to watch for entertainment, then please just watch part 2. It's completely up to you. So if you want to learn how to put this dress together, then please keep watching.
Bottom pieces together, sew around using whatever seam allowance you used on the pieces earlier. Next, you're going to lay the fabric on top of the bra foam and sew into place. Using a measuring tape, line up the pattern pieces parallel to the grain line of the fabric. Cut out the interfacing needed for the back pieces and ironed on. To iron on the interfacing, make sure the textured side is face down, as this is the glued area that will stick to the pattern pieces.
Let's start to assemble the bodice. First, match all the main corset pieces together, aligning the notches and seams carefully, pin or clip them into place and keep everything secure. Next, you're going to sew each seam with a straight stitch, making sure to keep an even seam allowance. Once the pieces are sewn together, use an overlock or a zigzag stitch for your sewing machine to finish off the raw edges. Overlock each piece separately to make an open seam. This will help to reduce bulk and give it a professional look. Start by cutting out your boning casings. I made mine around 2 cm wide. Next, fold each by 0.5 cm and press them flat to make a clean edge. Place the casing directly over the seam lines, centering them for an even look. Then sew both edges of the casing to ensure it's secure in place, creating a channel for the boning.
Here I am marking either side of the casing about 0.5 centimeters, if or anything less, so I can fold them inwards and make the casing to sew onto the corset. Place the casing on the seams and sew on the edges. Push the boning into the casings to check that they will fit.
Place the bra forms into the curved cup section, ensure that they fit smoothly and align correctly with the seams. Using pins to hold them in place, make sure the curve matches neatly, then sew along the seam allowance from one end to the other, ensuring that the bra forms is into the bodice.
Next, we overlock the hem and the side seam of the skirt. If you don't have an overlocker machine, you can always use a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine, and you do the same to the skirt lining. Line up the pocket bag grain line to the selvage edge of the fabric. Pin and cut 4 pieces flipped. Overlock the straight edge of the bag pieces.
Place your hand at the side as if reaching into the pocket. This will help determine the most natural and comfortable placement. Measure down from the waistline where your hand naturally rests, then transfer the measurement to the skirt of the fabric, marking the exact spot where you want the pockets to be attached. Now for the pocket bag piece, measure in and mark 1 cm from the top to the bottom. Repeat the same markings on the skirt and placement points. This will help precise alignment for when you're attaching the pocket. With the right sides facing, align the side seams and both skirt pieces. Pin or clip them together in place to make sure the notches and the pockets open stay aligned. Sew along the side seams but skip over the pocket bag for now. We'll come back to that in the next step. Now flip the skirt to the wrong side and press each seam open. This will help to lay everything flat for a cleaner finish. Next, align the pocket bag pieces together and make sure that the edges match up neatly. Sew around the curved edge of the pocket bag until fully closed. Once sewn, overlock the pocket bags together and prevent fraying for a professional look. First, measure your grain line to the seam piece to the selvage edge. This will help ensure that the fabric is cut correctly for the best shape. Next, overlock the top and bottom of the edges of the sleeve to prevent fraying. Then fold approximately 1.5 cm along the edge and sew straight stitch to create a channel for the elastic. Now let's add the elastic to create a puff effect. Start by measuring 4 pieces of elastic around the bicep. Make sure it's snug but comfortable enough for its relaxed state. Start by measuring 4 pieces of elastic around your bicep. Make sure it's snug but comfortable in its relaxed state. Take each elastic piece and pull through the channel you've sewed earlier at the top and the bottom of the sleeve. Use a safety pin or a guide puller to pull through. Once the elastic is in place, pin the ends securely and sew them down to keep the gathers in place. Then close the channel by sewing along the folded edge. Finally, fold the sleeve right sides together and sew the seam and overlock the edge. Iron the 2 casing pieces flat and carefully snip into the casing for a curved area. Next, pin in the given seam allowance and create a clean edge. To keep everything in place before sewing, use a contrasting thread to baste the casing into the bodice. Once basted, you're ready to securely sew the casing into place. Carefully slide the boning into the casing you've created. Make sure that it sits flat and evenly along the seams. The boning should fit snugly, providing structure for the bodice without being too tight. Start by measuring the length of the top edge of the corset and deciding on a suitable length for the facing, including the seam allowance all the way around. Cut out the facing piece and then fold the seam allowance along the edges. Press it flat to create a clean, crisp folds. Next, baste the facing using a contrasting thread. Finally, sew the facing securely. Make sure that the following edges neat and professional look. Hi guys, if you've liked what you've seen so far, then please like, comment and subscribe. I've got so much more coming up for the rest of the year. Also, in the second half of the video, I've got a little Easter egg for you. As always, make sure you write it down in the comments below. Write down the timestamp when you found it. Moving on to the skirt, start by overlocking the top and bottom edges of the skirt and the skirt lining to prevent fraying. Next, pin the skirt and lining together at the waist, making sure that the edges are lined properly. Sew them together, ensuring for a smooth connection between the two. Once sewn, fold up the bottom of the skirt hem and the lining and press into place. Sew along the edge to secure it. Start by measuring up from the seam allowance where you want the eyelets to go. Mark the position carefully from the centre back. Using small scissors, cut out the cross shapes of each marking to create space for the eyelets. Next, insert the eyelets into the opening on the right side of the fabric. Then place the other side of the eyelet on the reverse side. Use an eyelet press to secure them in place. For the centre back of the corset, fold in by 1 cm for the centre back and sew down. This will ensure the perfect fit. Make sure when you're sewing for the skirt that it's an accurate measurement. Start by measuring the waistline of the corset to determine how much gathering is needed. Slightly gather the skirt along the waistline to match the size of the corset. the gather skirt into the corset, making sure the edges align evenly. Before sewing, insert the final pieces of boning at the back of the corset for extra support. Sew the skirt into the corset, carefully securing the gathering and ensure everything is neatly in place. There are two zippers feet they can use, but I decided to do the standard zipper foot because it allows me to get close to the edge for a neater finish. Start at the bottom of the zipper, marking a vertical line at the stopping point. This is where you'll end the zipper on both sides. Sew down to the point on both sides and then close the zipper. Sew the rest of the skirt to the hem. This step is optional, but I decided to attach the skirt lining to more securely so it prevents it swinging too widely. By sewing the line to the skirt, there are a few key points along the waist. You can ensure that the lining stays in place and the skirt has a smoother finish. Try the dress on to determine where you want the sleeves to fit comfortably around your bicep. Once you've found the right spot, put the sleeves in place. Sew the sleeve just under where the elastic casing ends, attaching it securely to the corset. This will give you a perfect puff look while ensuring the sleeve stays in place. Though it's optional, you don't even have to put the sleeve on, you could just finish it right there and make it completely sleeveless. It's up to you.
And that's it. If you haven't watched it already, make sure you watch the part 1, which is the pattern making video. You can't really make the dress without the pattern, so please make sure you watch that. Anything else, please like, comment and subscribe. As always, I hope I made your day so much better. Let me know if you found the Easter egg as well. Put that in the comments. YouTube thinks that you're going to like this video. If you do, wonderful. If not, YouTube also thinks you're going to like this video from my channel, so please tune into that and let them know if you're right. Away from that, I hope to see you soon. Bye.